Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session, Reimagine the Enterprise Directory. My name is Stephanie Sosa, and I'm a product marketing manager here at Slack. Today, you'll be hearing from two of the co-founders of Slack's most recent acquisition, Rimeto, a reimagined company directory that strengthens employee ties to each other and to their work. And I'm so excited to have both Maxwell and Ted join us today to participate in a panel discussion to learn more about what Rimeto is, how it works, and what the future holds for Rimeto and Slack. But first, I'm going to hand it off to Maxwell Heyman, who will give a brief overview of Rimeto.
Thanks so much, Steph. We're all using Slack to communicate with our colleagues, and increasingly with our customers and others outside of our organizations as well. Slack powers communication and collaboration so we can all get work done. But in order to collaborate, you need to be able to find and communicate with the right people at the right time. Out of all of your colleagues across the country or the world, it needs to be easy for you to find the expert in a given subject, the leader of the new initiative you heard about, or the colleague who used to work at the company you're trying to sell into. This is exactly what Rimeto does. Rimeto helps you find the right people in your organization and then gives you all the context you'd hope for so you can work together productively. We all recognize that our new normal, working partially or fully remote, comes with some real challenges around how we interact with our colleagues. You can't swing by a colleague's desk to ask a question, grab coffee to get to know the new member of your department, chat with your counterpart on another team while walking into the meeting room together. And these challenges impact your employees every single day. For example, imagine Carlos. His company, like many organizations, has had to transform their business over the past 6 months. And Carlos has been asked to be part of a high priority initiative where he's working alongside a bunch of people he's never worked with before. How do we support Carlos and this team who have no meaningful context about each other? How can they dive in and successfully work together, all while remote and without the traditional get to know you time? Like Carlos, your people are likely being asked to work with unfamiliar colleagues more often. And we've seen this trend in Slack's data. As our enterprise customers transition to remote workplaces this year, they saw a 40% increase in their employees connecting on Slack with colleagues they hadn't engaged with before. Next, let's imagine Susan, a new hire at your company. She went through the entire interview process online, and she's never met anyone in person. She didn't get to fly to HQ for orientation or start in the office sitting next to her new colleagues. Everything's been over video. You hired Susan to do an important job. This is a time where every hire is critical. So you want to make sure she's acclimated and productive as quickly as possible. How are you going to make sure that she understands the organization, who people are, how projects and teams fit together, and who to turn to for what? Getting up to speed in a new place is always challenging, but it's tougher than ever while fully remote. Let's say over the last 6 months, you've hired 20 or 200 or 2,000 Susans across sales, marketing, operations, and other teams. They're talented and passionate and excited to help on your key initiatives, but they want to start making an impact. And how's that going to happen if they're struggling to navigate the organization and understand their colleagues? In this new environment, facing these new challenges, we believe that your people need an advanced directory. Now, I'm pretty sure you didn't wake up this morning thinking, I need an advanced directory. And you're probably wondering what advanced directory even means, and that's completely okay. In short, an advanced directory helps your people easily find and understand their colleagues and navigate your organization. So how does it work? Rimeto brings together everything you want to know about your colleagues and makes it easy to understand the people, teams, and projects across your entire organization. Imagine having a profile for each person with all the relevant information about them. You get a holistic understanding of who they are, what they're working on, their teams, focus areas, expertise, and goals. It's all together in one place. Your people have this valuable context at their fingertips, rather than having to search through many siloed information systems to build this picture for themselves. Rimeto can integrate relevant information from all your existing internal systems and display it as part of these holistic profiles. For example, data automatically flows from your HRIS, Workday, Oracle, or SAP. And you can also include elements such as your people's professional and educational backgrounds from their resumes in your applicant tracking system, the projects they're working on from your project management tools, your sales team's coverage from your CRM, and even information from homegrown systems. You can search across everything in Rimeto. If you want to know all the people working on a project, no problem. Want to find the colleagues with a valuable skill set? You can do it in a click. Rimeto makes search so easy to find the right people from across your entire organization. Then you can link straight into Slack and start talking to them. Rimeto saves you hours of searching. It's like giving your people a superpower to understand each other and navigate your organization.
Thanks, Maxwell. Super exciting stuff. Now let's shift gears and start asking all the fun questions. Ted, welcome. Glad to have you join as well. Let's start with you. I think we can all agree that there are lots of challenges in the business world right now, and organizations are improvising and adapting like never before. So why should they prioritize upgrading their employee directory?
Thanks, Steph. And it's great to be part of this session at Frontiers. Businesses definitely have their hands full right now. At a time when our traditional in-person ways of interacting with colleagues are no longer possible, we have to turn to new techniques to fill the gap, whether that's how we share information, understand each other, or collaborate. In terms of directory specifically, I think it's helpful to start by asking yourself, if someone in your organization is assigned to a project with a colleague they don't know, where do they currently look to find more about this person? What if they want to find information beyond the person's title and contact information to understand how they fit into the organization, who they can work with, what they're working on, their goals, and so on? What tools would they use? And is this easy or hard? If they can't rely on established relationships or tribal knowledge of how the organization works, would they actually be successful?
Yeah, these are tricky questions to answer. So what do people typically do to find information about their colleagues?
Well, most organizations don't offer a good way to answer these questions today, but you need your people to easily find, understand, and collaborate with each other. It's both harder to do than ever and also more important than ever in this rapidly changing business environment where we're working partially or fully remote.
Well, most companies today already have a directory. Can employees just use that current solution to find information about their colleagues?
Yeah, so it comes down to providing employees the information they need the way they need it. Organizations are increasingly asking their people to collaborate across teams, functions, geographies, to be able to drive innovation and really to do more with less, and to do all of this while we're remote. So in this environment, the traditional directory of names, titles, contact information doesn't really provide the context people need. Often this business card info in Outlook is all employees have access to, or they're expected to access data in the same core HR system that they use to select benefits or change their direct deposit.
But the great news is that enterprises already have rich information about their employees. The problem is that this information is distributed across siloed systems. Pieces are in the HRIS, project management tools, staffing systems, CRM, and the list goes on. No employee is going to log into all these systems to piece it together themselves. Unless the holistic picture is assembled for your people, they end up being operating blind, which creates efficiency and productivity costs every single day. The solution is to bring all this information together into one easy to access place and then provide employees a world-class user experience so that they can make it part of their day-to-day. The only way you achieve this is with a purpose-built solution like Rimeto.
A purpose-built solution. I like that. So what are the most common challenges that companies are having that a solution like Rimeto can help with?
There are a lot of reasons that organizations purchase and value Rimeto. The common theme is that they understand that their people can't work together effectively if they don't understand each other. Maxwell, maybe you can share a few examples?
Yeah, happy to. So for example, we have many customers with a global footprint that have experienced really significant challenges over the past few years. For example, One of our customers is a Fortune 500 entertainment and media company, and they have three main business units that they put together through acquisition. And a central part of bringing together those business units post-acquisition is making sure that their people can find, understand, and be able to collaborate with those new colleagues. At this customer, their leadership leveraged Rimeto as part of their strategy to bring these groups together and to facilitate discovery, collaboration across those groups. So they would function more as one company rather than as disparate parts. Another example at another one of our customers, who is one of the leading travel companies, and they've built a portfolio of really recognizable brands that have historically functioned pretty independently. They also deployed Rimeto so that their people would be able to search across the entire organization in order to be able to share ideas, consult on new products, and also support their shared customers. And also, as part of a company-wide strategic reorg at this organization, they leverage Rimeto to communicate the new organization structure to their people globally.
What about organizations that understand these challenges and have already built a homegrown directory?
That's another common scenario. We're often replacing a homegrown directory with a SaaS solution to free up valuable internal resources and provide their people a significantly improved experience. One of our customers, a publicly traded and respected financial services firm, had built a homegrown directory. They turned to Rimeto to replace that legacy system so they could spend their internal engineering team's limited time on products tied to their organization's specific investment-related needs. Rather than a generally applicable system, this is the same reason they wouldn't build out an email or chat platform themselves when they're good SaaS alternatives. Plus, Rimeto provided their employees a significantly enhanced set of directory functionality and overall user experience. So it was a win-win. It was actually a very similar story at one of the most respected universities in the world, where Rimeto replaced their legacy internal system and also powers the people lookup on their website, where a subset of the information is visible to the general public. Rimeto can also stitch together parts of an organization that use different systems. For example, one of the major US sports leagues uses Rimeto to provide a unified directory across the league office and also the teams, even though each team uses independent HR systems. So Rimeto combines all the data into one system that the entire league can access. A fun fact is that they leverage Rimeto's visibility controls so that only select people can see confidential information. For example, all senior leadership of the league and team owners and management can see the commissioner's cell phone number, but that number is not visible to a junior member of the sales department at the Chicago team.
Super cool. Okay, so what about from an employee's point of view? What are some things they can do in Rimeto that they maybe can't easily do elsewhere?
So there are two most common ways that employees use Rimeto each day. The first is looking up a specific colleague by name. Maybe you're looking to be working on a new project with this person, or you see an unfamiliar name pop up in a Slack channel, and you want to be able to really quickly understand who they are, how they fit into the organization, who they work with, what they're focused on, their team's goals, their background, and more. So Rimeto helps you at a glance holistically understand this unfamiliar colleague, really as if you had get to know you time to sit down with them, have a conversation, and learn that face to face. Today at most organizations, this is really challenging, if not impossible, because the information lives across all these siloed systems that we talked about earlier. The second category is where you're looking for a person or a group of people from across thousands or even tens of thousands of colleagues, but you don't know who those people are. Maybe you need to know who's a subject matter expert in a given sector or a functional area, or you're trying to find out who's working on a project or who supports a specific customer. And Rimeto makes it quick and easy to search across that entire organization to find and connect with the right person or the right group of people. So you don't have to rely on networking your way through your own organization just to connect with the right colleagues.
Ted, any other employee-focused use cases you might add?
Sure. Building on what Maxwell said, other frequent use cases include getting information about a team or project, including who's involved in their roles, employee onboarding, visualizing the company org chart, and staying up to date on new hires and work anniversaries.
Okay, so how does Rimeto really work? What data flows into Rimeto and how does that happen?
Maxwell touched on this a bit previously, so I'll build on what he said. To create a holistic profile for every person in an organization, we integrate data from a variety of enterprise systems. Every customer has slightly different mix of systems that are home to the data they want to appear in Rimeto. These range from highly structured and standardized systems, such as the HRIS, so the Workdays and SAPs and Oracles of the world, to completely idiosyncratic ones, including homegrown tools. So the name of the game for Rimeto has been flexibility. Other systems we typically see at customers include recruiting and applicant tracking systems like Greenhouse and Lever, email and calendar, so Exchange and G Suite, messaging, so in addition to Slack, Teams, Jabber, et cetera, CRM, including Salesforce and others, project management systems like Jira and Trello, facilities management systems that contain information about who sits where, and the list goes on. In order to provide this flexibility, we've invested heavily to develop a universal data platform that enables us to ingest data from any system. The data platform provides flexibility to customers while enabling us to integrate and deploy at scale. Once Rimeto receives the data from a customer, we configure the system based on their specific needs so that information is displayed in a way that aligns with the organization's unique needs. The important takeaway is that our customers control what data they want us to include in the Rimeto directory and how the profiles are configured.
That's a lot. So what does it look like when you're setting this up for a new customer?
Yeah, when we're working with a new customer, we begin by reviewing the key information that can be displayed in an employee's profile, and then we determine where that data currently lives within the customer's systems. Typically, this exercise reveals that if we plug into just 2 or 3 core systems, it enables us to populate the vast majority of employee data. So in short, getting started is really easy. And then we build on that over time as the customer wants to add more integrations.
Speaking of integrations, I know folks are probably most excited about a future Rimeto and Slack integration. Can either of you talk more about the plans and vision for Rimeto and Slack?
Sure. Our vision is for Rimeto to be the definitive representation of people's professional identity. Currently, Rimeto is available as a standalone product. Slack and Rimeto already link to each other, where Rimeto is a launchpad for Slack messaging, and there are deep links in Rimeto that allow you to go straight into a direct message with a person or channel in Slack. And in Slack, anytime you click on a person's name, a link to their Rimeto profile appears. If you're using Slack on your computer, the relevant Rimeto profile opens in a browser window. And if you're using Slack on your phone, the Rimeto profile opens automatically in the Rimeto native mobile app. Everyone at Slack is using this setup today, and we've gotten great feedback about how useful and easy it is. Over time, we will be bringing Rimeto's functionality directly into Slack, so Rimeto will power the native Slack profile. As part of this deeper integration, we're going to bring additional data from Slack into the Rimeto profile. For example, focus areas and project participation based on Slack channel membership. Rimeto profile information will also be incorporated into Slack Search. We anticipate that we'll complete the first phase of this integration in early 2021, but we're still figuring out the exact timing.
Yeah, and just one other thing to note is that as Rimeto becomes more integrated into Slack, the Rimeto data integration platform and backend systems will continue to power profiles. So any companies that use Rimeto today will see their integrations and configuration setup seamlessly transition over to the integrated setup when it's ready. And finally, we anticipate making Rimeto's API available to customers in order to power other internal enterprise applications with this rich profile data as well.
Super exciting. I know I'm personally excited for all of the great things we've got coming down the pike. For anybody in the audience who might be interested in Rimeto, is there anything either of you can speak more to about what types of organizations you've historically worked with and who might benefit the most from a solution like Rimeto?
Yeah, happy to. So our customers are typically large organizations with many knowledge workers. Our product becomes really valuable once your company's too big for you to know everyone personally. So typically that means beginning at a few hundred people. So far in our existence, we've primarily been focused on companies with thousands of people, even tens of thousands of people, but we're investing in tools to support smaller organizations as well. Where we're deployed, employees are using Rimeto daily, and view it as one of the foundational tools that really help them get their job done. Most often, it's the CIO and the members of their team focused on collaboration tools that have been our primary stakeholders, but representatives of HR, internal communications, and other functional areas are typically also involved.
Okay, last question. Should be a fun one. It's been about 3 months since Rimeto joined Slack. How's it going?
Yeah, it is really hard to believe that it's already been 3 months. So far, it's been great and also a totally wild ride. The acquisition actually happened during lockdown. So believe it or not, we've never met any of our new Slack colleagues in person, which is pretty crazy. But we've relied on technology tools, including Slack and Rimeto, a ton, and it's working really smoothly. It's super cool to get to use your own products and experience how they make your daily life more productive. And then getting to hear how people across Slack are really loving using Rimeto in their day-to-day work has been really gratifying as well.
It's great to be part of Slack. Feedback from Rimeto and Slack customers so far has been very positive. People intuitively understand how Slack and Rimeto complement each other, and we're getting to turbocharge our product development and benefit from Slack's distribution. There's a lot of exciting stuff planned.
Awesome. I want to thank you both so much for participating in today's panel session. It looks like we're out of time. Thank you both again. If you're interested in learning even more about Rimeto and how it can help your company, please visit the URL on this screen, slack.com/Rimeto. You can enter your contact info and a member of our team will reach out to you for a follow-up conversation. Thank you all again for joining. Enjoy the rest of Frontiers.